They say a dog's instinct can't be explained, only trusted. But nothing could have prepared Officer Jenna Collins for the moment her trusted K-9 partner, 4, broke formation and lunged, unprovoked, at an old rusted shipping container deep in the overgrown outskirts of Crestwood. The day had started like any other. The Crestwood Police K-9 unit was conducting a routine search in the industrial yards, where reports of squatters and illegal dumping had become more frequent. The air was thick with humidity, and the sun struggled to pierce the dense gray clouds overhead. 4, a German shepherd with amber eyes and nerves of steel, had been Jenna's partner for nearly 3 years. He was disciplined, sharp, and had never once broken command. Until now, without warning, he jerked hard on the leash, barking frantically, muscles taut as he dragged Jenna towards the container half buried in weeds. 4, heel, she barked, stunned. He didn't listen, not out of defiance, but desperation. Jenna's instincts kicked in. She unclipped the leash and pulled out her flashlight. The container looked abandoned. Rust streaked down its sides, doors barely shut, a padlock hanging loosely. 4 circled it, barking louder, his nose working overtime. "Is someone in there?" she called out. No answer. Then a sound, faint, like a whimper. Jenna froze. Her heart started to pound as she motioned to her backup to cover her. With trembling fingers, she forced the lock open and slowly pulled the door. The smell hit her first. Then the silence. And then, movement. A tiny face peeked out from the shadows. A child, a little girl, barely 5 years old, eyes sunken, cheeks smeared with dirt, clutching a stained teddy bear. Her lips trembled as she tried to speak, but only a hoarse whisper came out. 4 immediately laid down, tail wagging slowly, his eyes locked on hers, soft, gentle, inviting. "Oh my God," Jenna breathed, dropping to her knees. "We've got a child. She's alive." Paramedics rushed in moments later. The girl was severely dehydrated and malnourished. They estimated she had been in the container for days. No one knew her name. She wore no ID, no labels on her clothing, no signs of recent medical care. She was simply lost. Over the next few days, the town of Crestwood rallied. News of Thor's heroic find spread fast. But Jenna couldn't shake the question swirling in her mind. Who was this little girl? How did she end up in that container? And why hadn't anyone come looking for her? As the investigation unfolded, what they uncovered sent shockwaves through the community. The girl, eventually identified as Lily, had been taken from a neighboring state 2 weeks prior. A suspected human trafficking ring had used the shipping yard as a temporary drop-off point before transporting victims elsewhere. But for reasons unknown, Lily had been left behind. Forgotten. The trauma she endured left her mute for weeks. But there was one thing that brought her out of her silence. 4. At the precinct, during a quiet visit, Lily reached out and placed her small hand on Thor's head. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The smile that broke across her face was the first sign of light anyone had seen in her. But the challenges didn't stop there. Jenna, deeply moved by Lily's case, fought hard to become her temporary guardian while the legal process played out. She was single, with no kids, and lived a life of unpredictability as an officer. The system was skeptical. "You're a cop. Long hours. Dangerous work. Are you sure this is the best environment for a traumatized child?" The social worker had asked. But Jenna stood firm. "I don't know much about parenting. But I do know one thing. Lily felt safe the moment she saw my dog. That connection, that trust, saved her life. I think that says something." Eventually, the judge agreed. Temporarily, at first, but as the months passed, Jenna and Lily formed a bond neither had ever expected. Lily began to speak, laugh, play. She started school. She made friends. And every night, she fell asleep curled up next to Thor, whispering stories into his ears only he could understand. The hardest part came when Lily had to testify in court. She was the only known survivor of the trafficking ring that had abandoned her. She was their only chance at shutting the operation down. The defense tried to rattle her. They questioned her memories, but Jenna had prepared her for weeks. When the day came, Lily walked into the courtroom with quiet courage. She didn't look at the defendants. She looked at Jenna, sitting in the front row, and at Thor, who had been granted special permission to be there. With that, she told her story. Clear, strong, brave. The ring was dismantled. Multiple arrests were made. More children were found. The town celebrated. But for Jenna, the real victory was quieter. One night, months later, she tucked Lily into bed. The little girl looked up and whispered, "Can Thor stay with me tonight?" "He always does," Jenna smiled. Lily paused, then asked softly, "Why did he find me? Why did he know I was there?" Jenna took a deep breath, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's face. "Because sometimes, the world goes quiet when it should scream. But Thor hears what others miss. And when something isn't right, he runs towards it, even when no one else sees." The story of a brave little girl, a dog with an unshakable instinct, and a cop who refused to walk away became more than news. It became a reminder that even in the darkest corners, a light, no matter how small, can break through. That heroes come in many forms. And sometimes, the ones who save us, walk on four legs.